II, the beginning of the Jeep and the beginning also of the Jeep equipment story. Millions of GIs saw the many different military jobs the Jeep could do and realized how that versatility could be converted to civilian use. They planned to put the Jeep to work for them after the war, and many of them did. Those ex-GIs first put their civilian Jeeps to work on the farms. Here's a Jeep pulling a double-bottom plow, but this is not like plowing with any other vehicle. Anyone who can drive a car can plow with a Jeep, and you do the work on a cushioned seat. Here's another one. This is the disc harrow. These rows of disc blades make short work of the lumps. This rear blade mower is used not only by farmers, but by highway departments too, to mow roadside shoulders. And here's another major piece of farm equipment for the Jeep. This cultivator is clearing the furrows and breaking the dirt between rows of corn. With this post hole digger, a Jeep can dig a post hole a minute. It gets its lift and up to 500 pounds of down pressure from the hydraulic lift, while the Jeep's power takeoff turns the auger for the actual digging. There are many ways in which Jeeps help prevent, detect, and extinguish fires. For instance, lightning alone causes as many as 20,000 forest fires a year. But patrol Jeeps can spot and get to these fires fast, before they spread, thereby saving millions of dollars a year. They can reach places otherwise accessible only on foot or by horse, and with their fire lane plows can cut fire breaks around the area. One man with a Jeep can do the work of 100 men with shovels. This Jeep has hand spray equipment operating from tank trailers. Now the firefighters have a safe way to get directly to the fire. And here comes the mighty Jeep fire engine. Thanks to its four-wheel drive, it can go through streams and over bad terrain in any kind of weather to reach the point in the fire area where it'll do the most good. It's the perfect supplement to big city equipment for handling small fires, and as the only equipment for volunteer fire departments in small towns and villages. It's needed by lumber yards, oil fields, industrial plants, summer camps, resort hotels, and amusement parks. It can throw up to 500 gallons of water a minute, and this powerful pump develops a discharge pressure of 120 pounds, more than enough for most small fires and for many of the big ones, too. But let's get on to other pieces of Jeep equipment. This generator, for example. It operates from the power takeoff, and with it, the Jeep becomes a mobile source of electric power to operate saws, communications equipment, motion picture equipment, flood and spotlights, and indeed any electrical equipment that must be moved around over bad terrain or in bad weather. Telephone, electric companies, and other public utilities use the Jeep for moving men and equipment, for pulling cable, and a multitude of other work applications requiring complete mobility on the road and off. There are many other uses for the generator. This one, made by General Electric, provides a mobile source of electric power for welding, and that's important to such industries as oil fields where miles of pipelines stretch out in all directions. City street and state road maintenance crews and construction companies use this compressor to provide mobile air power for jackhammers, air drills, spaders, and tampers. Here's one of the ways the transportation industry uses the Jeep. Besides towing planes, it carries and loads luggage, carries pilot crews, and tows cargo trailers. And then, in the winter, it clears the runways of snow. Of course, snow plowing is a job the Jeep is needed for by all farmers, service stations, and almost all industries. Cemeteries make good use of the Jeep, too. With trailers, they haul sand, shrubs, and burial equipment to any point in the grounds. In addition, they're used for setting markers and for general caretaking. Jeeps with extension booms are used around cemeteries for such work as lifting memorial stones. It's a simple matter to lift the stone into carrying position. You can then safely travel with it for any distance. Almost any industry that requires moving heavy items from one place to another will find this invaluable help. One man with a Jeep and extension boom can lift a heavy object, tote it, and set it down where it's needed. And all this is possible because of the famous hydraulic lift. With it, the Jeep can do a greater number of jobs in industry and agriculture. Instead of just pulling equipment along, the Jeep with hydraulic lift can raise the equipment for traveling, and by means of a simple screw adjustment, as much as 500 pounds of down pressure can be exerted where it's needed, as in plowing, excavating, or grading. Here you see it used with the extension boom mentioned a few minutes ago. The object is to carry that plow from the barn and put it on the truck. Watch how simple it is. Once the boom is attached to the plow, a touch of the control raises it in the air. It's then safely and easily transported to the truck and lowered onto it. And it's the same hydraulic lift that allows this grader blade to do its work so easily and efficiently. Fingertip control raises or lowers the blade and lets the operator make pass after pass at the gravel without complicated maneuvering. Because it performs smoothing, grading, and ditching operations with speed and precision, this grader blade is a boon to road gangs and construction workers. Another vital piece of equipment is the variable engine speed governor. It has 9 positions, each one increasing the engine speed by 200 revolutions. This means better control of equipment that works from the power takeoff. And here you see such equipment. There are 3 points at which you can tap the power of the engine for equipment operation. This saw is operating in direct drive from the rear power takeoff point. With the governor set to maintain the correct saw speed, this man is able to saw logs to the desired length quickly and easily. Another extremely useful piece of equipment is the mobile pump. Operating off the power takeoff, some models are able to draw as much as 23,000 gallons per hour. In this scene, you see a rancher whose cistern has run dry. By running his Jeep down to the pond, hooking up his suction hose and output hose to the Jeep pump, he's able to get an immediate flow of water into his cistern. A pump such as this one is not only a valuable protection in emergencies, but also serves in a continuous capacity for irrigation of many widely separated areas where stationary pumps might prove too costly or impractical. Just listen to some of the many people who can use a mobile pump such as this one. Of course, farmers, ranchers, and fruit growers, but also construction companies for pumping water out of excavations. City water departments, too, can use this pump for emergency control of broken mains. And remember, this is not just a portable pump. This is a Jeep mobile pump. And that makes a difference, because the Jeep's 4-wheel drive means you're sure the pump is going to get to the place it's needed, regardless of terrain and weather conditions. Now for something that's really exciting to watch, the Jeep rotary cutter. Taking its power from the rear power takeoff, this magnificent monster contains 2 whirling heavy steel blades that will literally cut down anything the Jeep will drive over. And cut down isn't the word for it. Look at the way it's actually shredding those heavy bushes. It's cutting a clean path through an almost solid wall of brush without even pausing for breath. Now here's another special Jeep work unit that utilizes the power takeoff, only this time using a belt pulley to supply the power. It's the hammer mill. And as you can see, it makes short work of preparing feed for cattle. Farmers, ranchers, and dairymen will especially consider this unit as one of the most important and useful pieces of equipment they own. Next, take a look at the famous Jeep trench in operation. First and most important, it's 4-wheel drive, and that means it can go anywhere to do its job. And what a job it does. By adjusting 4 simple control levers, you lower the boom, set the depth up to 6 feet, set the speed up to 800 feet per hour, and leave it alone. The Jeep trench does the rest. Why, in 3 hours, it will dig the entire footing for an ordinary-size house. How many men with picks and shovels would it take to do the job that fast? And here's a big surprise. It costs only about 1 cent a foot to dig a trench with a Jeep. No wonder contractors, city governments, public utilities, and oil companies are turning more and more to the Jeep trench. And because it works unattended, at least one man is freed to do another job. When it comes to digging trenches for drainage, power lines, or pipelines, nothing beats the maneuverability, speed, and economy of the Jeep trench. But the beauty of the whole thing is that in a matter of seconds after finishing one job, the boom can be raised and the Jeep trench is on the road headed for its next job. Here's a piece of equipment that has a place in every storage yard and at the shipping station of almost every manufacturing plant. It's the Grand Loader forklift attachment for the Jeep. Thanks to 4-wheel drive, it has the traction and speed range to meet every need. And it'll carry a 1-ton load at anywhere from 2.5 up to 50 miles per hour. What's more, regardless of the angle of the Jeep, the load stays level. Yes, for loading railroad flat cars, trucks, or for just moving heavy loads from one place to another, you can count on the Grand Loader to do the job. Here's something every Jeep owner needs, and it's easy to convince him of it. A front or rear winch. In this particular case, it's a front winch being used to pull a dead tree out of the ground. But the list of winch uses is almost endless. It can be used for towing or pulling, raising or lowering. In addition to this front winch, center and rear mounted winches are also available. These winches exert a pull of up to 8,000 pounds. Of course, the prospects most likely to use a winch often are lumbermen, conservation workers, telephone and telegraph workers, emergency and rescue crews, service stations, and fire departments for pulling down walls and other hazards while fighting fires. Yes, a winch gives the Jeep even more pulling power. And speaking of pulling power, look at this Jeep pulling a hay trailer. It could be almost any trailer. Because of its powerful engine and four-wheel drive traction, the Jeep can exert a drawbar pull of 2,300 pounds. That's the pulling power of a two-plow tractor or enough to move a fully loaded freight car. But how about carrying capacity? Well, a Jeep with this extension body doubles its cargo capacity, which means 7 cubic feet of carrying space. The extra length makes it easier to handle lengthy materials such as lumber or pipe. And it's easy to install. No drilling, no cutting, no trimming, 4 bolts do the trick. Next comes some equipment that should have gone at the top of the list, the Jeep all-weather canvas tops. Here you see the half top as well as the full top. Both now fit snugly into body recesses for greater protection from wind, rain, and snow. And here are 3 of the steel tops, the half cab, master, and standard tops in that order. Each one designed for a special purpose, but all 3 built to stand up in rough, hard service year after year. And that's the only way a top should be built, to cover the rugged Jeep, the world's most useful vehicle. Now, a dramatic demonstration of four-wheel drive, the primary difference between Willys utility vehicles and less efficient transportation. And what does that mean to you and to your prospects? Just watch and you'll see. It means that a Willys utility vehicle can go anywhere to do its job, in any kind of weather, and over terrain that would send most vehicles to the junkyard. But that's just part of the story. On a slippery surface, a slick, muddy, or icy road, for instance, wheel slippage is practically eliminated. All 4 wheels are driving, gripping, pulling just where the driver directs them. Now just a few words about the Willys 4-wheel drive station wagon. This one you're looking at is owned by a lumber company. But the list of prospects for this vehicle runs into the thousands. Sportsmen, of course, prize it for getting them directly to their favorite camping or hunting spots. More important is the tremendous value it represents to so many businesses and industries. It's perfect as an off-the-road transport unit for doctors, missionaries, and government personnel, and as a combined 120 cubic foot pickup and passenger car for ranches, construction and oil companies, and public utilities. Small businessmen, photographers, radio television repairmen, and architects will find this vehicle doubly useful, both for business and pleasure. And remember, on good roads, the Willys station wagon can easily be shifted to a normal 2-wheel drive. One more thing. Almost every motel, resort hotel, and summer camp will find a multitude of uses for the smart-looking Willys station wagon. It'll carry guests and their luggage to and from the station, laundry and food supplies to and from town. And of course, it will do many general caretaking jobs around the grounds. Now let's take a look at the station wagon's brother vehicle, the Willys Sedan Delivery. It too has 120 cubic feet of cargo space. And you can see how these jumbo stand-open doors make loading and unloading easy. In this case, it's doing a double job for a grocery store, delivering food orders to customers and going out to the country to pick up fresh eggs, vegetables, and poultry right from the farm. 4-wheel drive means the Sedan Delivery performs both of these jobs easily under all kinds of weather conditions and over every type of terrain. That makes it perfect for almost every type of retail business where prompt delivery of merchandise is vital. Plumbers, electricians, and all emergency repair services need its dependability. Surveyors, carpenters, and painters need its greater mobility. For normal driving, the Willys Sedan Delivery can quickly be shifted to 2-wheel drive. Flowers bloom only once, and they must get to market on time regardless of weather. But thanks to Willys 4-wheel drive, this nurseryman has no problem traveling the back roads to his greenhouses and delivering his perishable merchandise to the city. Next comes the Willys pickup truck. With its new gross weight of 6,000 pounds, it safely carries up to almost 1.5 tons. That puts it in a very favorable position capacity-wise, and there's just no competition for its 4-wheel drive. And only with 4-wheel drive can construction workers, public utility crews, and newspaper deliveries be sure of getting through. With the new dump-o-matic hoist, the Willys truck is converted to an efficient all-purpose dump truck. The rugged dump-o-matic unit is mounted under the box without alterations. And lifting is accomplished by 2 hydraulic cylinders that assure equal lift to both sides of the box. You just touch the single control on the dash, and the load is dumped right where it's needed in a matter of seconds. This makes it ideal for quarries and road maintenance crews. A mobile drill powered by a Willys 4-wheel drive truck makes the toughest drilling job a one-man operation. This particular model has a hydraulic feed for automatically raising and lowering the auger. It will drill a 4.5-inch hole 80 feet into the earth in less than an hour. No wonder it's prized by contractors, geologists, mining companies, and well drillers. By adding sections, as the operator has done, it is possible to go as deep as 300 feet, and it's always ready to dig in and do the job. Let's move next to the Willys grain and stake truck. In this scene, it's being loaded with prize cattle, and you can easily see its value on farms and ranches for hauling livestock, grain, feed, and farm equipment. But it has a multitude of work applications in industry, too. Besides its ability to go anywhere, its capacity rating of almost 1.5 tons, plus its high stake sides, make it the perfect solution to any bulky cargo problem, such as dressed lumber, pipe, plate glass, and light manufacturing machinery. When an emergency call comes in, there's nothing that needs the dependability of 4-wheel drive more desperately than an ambulance in rural areas. And here's the answer: the Willys 4-wheel drive ambulance. It can reach the scene in all kinds of weather, over good roads and bad, and where a road doesn't exist at all. It can carry 4 litters or 8 sitting on benches. That gives it the capacity for heavy emergency and disaster work. And it can be used as a self-contained mobile first aid station. Directly in front of this vehicle is the Jeep Utility Ambulance, a 2-liter vehicle designed to put emergency medical service within the reach of every large manufacturing plant, government agency, or even an amusement park where maneuverability and economy are a problem. It also serves small towns and villages where the lack of roads presents an obstacle to fast emergency service. Now let's take a look at the big Willys van body. Here, this gleaming white unit is doing a job for a bakery. Holding over 190 cubic feet of cargo, it's perfect for deliveries in hard-to-reach places. Dairies and laundries are other prospects for this Willys vehicle. Uh-oh, must have been an accident. Here comes the Willys truck wrecker. No matter where the wreck occurs, no matter what the weather is like, the Willys 4-wheel drive truck wrecker arrives on the scene fast, ready to go to work. Here you see it pulling the wreck onto the road with its front winch. When the wrecked car is ready for towing, the boom is set and the car is lifted into position. Both the winch and this boom are easily operated from the power takeoff of the engine. What's more, there's plenty of room for tires, batteries, and even an air compressor. This Willys truck wrecker is vital to all big garages, fleet owners, and taxi companies. And here's its brother, the Jeep wrecker. It's smaller, but in size only. Fully able to handle any passenger car, it's perfect for turning gas stations into true service stations. And with a snowplow attachment, it serves a dual purpose during the winter. Now for a Willys vehicle you've probably never even seen before, the brand new cargo personnel carrier. Thanks to its 4-wheel drive, this vehicle represents a great achievement in transporting men and their equipment into hard-to-reach places. The cargo personnel carrier is of all-steel construction and has 2 full-length side seats with backrests, plus 2 seats up front. That means room for 12 men and all their equipment. Like all Willys vehicles, it is extremely maneuverable, and it offers all the ruggedness and economy of the Willys truck. There are 3 basic uses of the cargo personnel carrier: to haul people, to haul cargo, or to haul trailers. And it can do all 3 jobs at once. Here you see the vehicle dropping men and equipment off at various widely separated points. The cargo personnel carrier is especially valuable to construction companies, road building and maintenance crews, and oil companies. Weather protection for the men and equipment has been adequately provided for. The new Willys cargo personnel carrier can be operated fully open, with canvas cab top, or with a full canvas top that protects both front and rear from any kind of weather. Yes, here comes the parade of Willys Jeeps and utility vehicles. What's the next new job they can do? The next new job for 4-wheel drive. North, south, east, and west. In cities, in industries, and on farms. Wherever there's work to be done and the will to do it, you'll find new uses and new markets for the world's most useful vehicles. Remember, there's a Jeep for your job.